Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Rise of the Tomb Raider Survivor difficulty video walkthrough. This is the Divine Source, and as you can see, we are injured unfortunately. We've healed up so that we've only got a little bit of a crimson money shot, but it's still annoying. And luckily enough, there is going to be a campfire coming up, I believe, that'll get rid of it for us, so we don't have to suffer too much. Because there are two damage modifiers in this game. The first injured modifier is the blood on the screen, the second injured modifier is the saturation of the colour, and then the third is death. So it's kind of the gradation of how injured you are, which is useful, but at the same time, I think they take it too far sometimes. You know, especially when they take the colour out. The colour was a thing that they did back in the day in first-person shooters, like Rainbow Six Vegas was notorious for it. One of those was, the first injured sign was everything went super high exposure, super bright, so it was really hard to see anything because it was just this massive fucking swamp fest of glows. And then if you got hit again, everything went stupidly dark, and it was almost impossible to make out anything. And I never got it in those games, because at that point you need to be the most alert you can be, the most lethal you can be, to kill the guy about to kill you. But if they make it so you can't see a fucking thing, how can you do that? And you couldn't, so you just used to just lay on your belly and hide and hope you didn't get flanked, and it used to be a nightmare. But then they moved away from that, and then it's just the whole, you know, jizz fest of crimson all over you, a nice scarlet squirt, and then this game is utilising a bit of both with the black and white. Like, you know, a game that really fucked me off with the screen doing that? Killzone 2. On Killzone 2, when your screen started going black and white, it seemed to take 20 minutes for the colour to come back. It was annoying, like really annoying. I don't get it. And they do a lot of other subtle touches as well that accentuates those moments. Like, they'll mute the audio, and they'll increase the sound of the player's heart rate, and they'll make him start gasping and stuff, and you just kind of sat there like, can you please give over? I want to fucking see. That was weird. See what I mean? Janky. Super janky. You gotta be careful. And it's one of those mechanics that I think is kind of style over substance, and it does more bad than good, but we're gradually moving away from it, I think. I don't know where the next evolution of regenerating life / health canteen / medpacks is going to be, but I'm really excited to see it, because it's overdue and we could do with it. As we do a little bit of climbing here, and we continue onwards using the awesome stabbing arrow technique. But this is the second to last video of the walkthrough. Final one being the last boss, which you don't have to worry about because he's a massive pussy. One of the worst last bosses I fought in a while, just because it's so easy. The first part is a completely uninspired helicopter fight that's got so many checkpoints it makes it a breeze. The second part is a rip-off of the David fight from The Last of Us, only nowhere near as interesting. So, touché, Tomb Raider, you managed to rip off a great fight and make it worse. Which, you don't say that every day, but that's what they did. And I'm sure you can say something like, well, Last of Us ripped off X, and it probably did, but I'd never done a hide-and-seek battle like the one against David that was that intimidating. I think they managed to capture the mood and the atmosphere of that fight wonderfully. I felt like a young girl being attacked by a fucking predator. It was like a Chris Hansen special. It was great. This is not that. It really isn't. It's kind of like Batista from the new Bond movie. He's like the most generic throwaway villain ever, you know? Don't get me wrong, the guy's massive, he's built like a brick shithouse, but you know when you throw a suit on him, he just looks fat. He looks fat with his shiny nails and his double-barreled gun and his lack of talking ability, because they didn't trust him to deliver his lines, even though it turns out he's actually a pretty good actor when he wants to. Like, what the fuck was that bad guy? And you know what makes it worse? The fact the poster makes it seem like Baron Samedi is going to be in that film, and I watched all 2.5 hours of that bag of dicks movie and I didn't see him once. Playing on my nostalgia to make me think of villains in it, and it's not, and then what do you replace him with? A 7-foot, fatter version of Oddjob that doesn't even have a bowler hat? It was rubbish. I did enjoy the film though, I just, you know what I mean. One of those things, isn't it? But here's another campfire. I don't know why there's two campfires that close together. Campfires generally aren't that close together when there's combat, let alone, like, climbing. If you mess up on climbing too, you don't take damage, you just fall to your death. So it seems interesting that they would give you two checkpoints so swiftly together. But this is the ascension part of the level. This is the part where you can't really go too fast because the game's too busy being like, well, look how cool this looks. Look at what happens when we blow this wall up. Whoa, so cool. Not a fan. Really not a fan. Cannot stand going slow on a game I know where to go on. Slow is for the first playthrough. Then after that, I'm mashing A. Let me mash A. Like this. What is it doing here other than showing an interesting eye for cinematography? I'm not getting it. I'm really not. It's not really setting the scene anymore. Is it loading something? Oh no, it's introducing us to more ice climbing, which worked so great last time. Let's do more of it. And this sideways jumping, dangerous. I died more on this section here than I did on the final boss, than I did on all the fights you've seen so far. All because of wonky detection, so there you go. Platforming is the real boss of this game. And I don't get it, because we've done it so well. You know, that Prince of Persia on last generation tech, the cel-shaded one, that had great platforming. Learn from them. Uncharted is getting better. Hopefully Uncharted 4 fixes some of the holes in its platforming. I'm trying to think of what game... I probably think like God of War's got the best platforming these days, because it's a game that I've never ever missed a jump on, or had a moment where the game's kicked me off of something like that. You see that bullshit? How did he do that? She dug the axes in, and then she just let go. I'm glad I kept that, because that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. How can you trust a mechanic when it doesn't work sometimes? You know? And that's why I probably use God of War for that example. Because I've never been climbing a wall in God of War and he's just let go. The only time I've fallen off in that game is when some guy was smacking me. And that makes sense, because that's the point. Yeah. Platforming is unacceptable at times. 7 out of 10, goddammit. Here's a quick transition to this guy. I'm going to shoot him in the face several times with my rapid-fire revolver that has way more than 6 chambers, but, you know, realism. And then this is the final challenge, guys. This is the last tricky sequence in the game. It could have been you and the soldiers and the Deathless guys all fighting each other in kind of like a crazy Royal Rumble that's super unpredictable and dangerous. Instead, it's a bunch of soldiers that you've been fighting the entire game, only now you have really bad cover. The good news is I put the rifle on. Watch this beast. One shot, one kill with this gun if you hit them in the face. And even on the smaller enemies, it might be one shot, one kill on torso, as the guy with the shield comes and I try and bait an attack and dodge, and it doesn't work. So shotgun guy, good news about him is he has a break between shooting, so I can shoot him. See you later. Try once again to get a dodge off the guy with the shield. I don't get it. Timing's not too great. That's it. If you take his legs out, you can go up to him and press Y. You might wonder why I didn't do it. There's people to the left shooting, and you're not invincible during those animations, so I didn't want to risk it. Also take note, mushrooms. That means you have free license to use sleeping arrows, sorry. Oh, that was a good one. Again? Oh, see you later, friend. But this rifle is so satisfying. If you miss, though, it's one of the worst feelings in the world, because it's like the most shameful reload animation. A little bit like the long shot in Gears multiplayer. When you miss that, you're like, oh, gonna put his bullet back in. Or when you fuck your active up, is there anything worse than seeing a sniper who's doing the long reload? Because you know he messed up when he's doing that. It's the reload of shame, I love it. But it's cool, they took it out of the multiplayer because they wanted everybody to be on a level playing field. What a wonderful idea that was. So this area is kind of tricky because you have to push up, but when you push up you put yourself out of danger. You put yourself in danger by being out of a favourable position. So you'll notice I'm doing it very slowly to make sure I don't trip any of the spawns. But what's coming up here is you're going to talk to the girl over the radio, and she's going to tell you that she's going to be giving you artillery, but you're in the artillery. I don't know why it does this, because it has absolutely no effect on gameplay. You're not at threat of being splashed by anything, and the only thing that happens is at the end, she fires one cannonball and everyone's happy. Like I think she opens that. Like, ooh, good job. And it immediately puts you in the worst position. So there you see there's a crossfade, because of course I died, because it's a really rough position at the beginning of that. And now we can push forward to try and get to a better one. But right now, this is the worst place to be. In this game, when you're in cover like this, there is no way to pop up and shoot them without getting hit unless they're doing a sequenced shooting. Which is to say, when they go wait, wait, or when they're doing like shotgun, reload, shotgun, reload. The only times you can be guaranteed not to get hit are in those interims. If it's just a guy freestyling, the moment you pop up he'll instantly shoot you. And if you're like one touch to death, you'll die. And it's really frustrating because it's the cover system not being good enough. It should have given us a blind fire function that's useful. It should have given us the ability to not get immediately shot when we bob out of cover. That would have been nice. But if you can get to a wall like where I am now, superior to the cover system in every way. Because you can use the ability to not get shot and shoot them. And this guy, I don't know what he's doing, and then he disappears. And then he reappears back over there. Super weird. So, I know that I don't need any more sleep arrows, because the final sequence has a shit ton of them to pick up off the ground just in case you need them. And I know that I can do that final sequence in like 3 arrows, so I can be pretty liberal with them here. The only thing I would recommend if you're going to follow my strategy is that you have enough shotgun ammo and enough napalm shells for the strategy I'm going to use. And it's a simple one. I'm going to hide behind a wall and I'm going to wait for people to come to me, and then when I see them I'm going to shoot them with a shotgun. It's that simple. Then when it gives me a checkpoint and the boss turns back up, we're going to shoot the projectile with the assault rifle, or with whatever you've got that's quite automatic. So on this build, it'll probably be the pistol, because I've got the single shot assault rifle, which is, I'm not a skeet shooter, I'm not going to try and be impressive, I just want maximum efficiency. But you should always be doing what I'm doing here, by the way, making sure you always walk into the next fight with everything that you need to overcome it. I think there's one more section left. If there's not, we're done. We might be done, guys. Yeah, we're done. That's it. You've just done all the tricky fights in the game. The only thing left now is the boss fight against the Chopper, the sequence against the Deathless, and then the boss fight against the crazy Stigmata man. And then you're done. And all of those things I just mentioned are a cakewalk, and I've got great strategies for them. So you've effectively beat the game at this point. The only thing left to do is stab your arrowhead through that dude's chin, and you're laughing. But thank you very much for watching, guys. As you see, the game tells you this is the point of no return, so this is the last campfire, and I'm going to do a couple of upgrades and I'm going to let the video run off because we've got one more left, and then you have beaten Rise of the Tomb Raider. Thank you very much for watching once again, and you take care now.